Well, it's too nasty to be doing anything tonight, so I think we're going to work on the 1955 Farmall Cub. I kind of want to call this Farmall the By the Book Cub because we have the book and we're going to go buy the book about getting this thing running. Alright, we're going to start with number 1. Remove spark plugs and pour a mixture of 1/2 gasoline and 1/2 light lubricating oil into each cylinder. And here I have about 8 ounces of Napa 10W30. So we're going to walk down to the shed, grab some gas, and be right back. It's a real nice day today. I really wish I was out here working on something instead of inside where it's dry. Down here in the lawnmower sheds we're keeping gas. There we go. We're gonna have to do some rearranging in here so we can get that Cub in here. All right, back to the house. Poor Dooley's sitting there in a state of disrepair. I got a new front wheel for it. We're gonna have to switch him over. That'll be in another video. There's the Denali. Drove it today. It's a good running truck. That put us at 12 ounces. About 14 ounces. That's pretty close to 16. We're going to call that good. That'd probably be good for starting a fire too. All right, now we got to pop these plugs out. Probably need to blow some air around them. All right, the main thing we're shooting for is to keep junk from getting down in the engine. Because from what I'm told, this motor's been overhauled at some point. So if it's decent, I want to keep it decent. We're going to pop these plug wires off, do our best to keep them in order, not mess them up. We'll grab a 7/8 wrench, pop these spark plugs out, see what they look like. Oh shoot, this thing's clean. It was running good when it was parked. Got some of them fancy auto light spark plugs. You probably won't never get one, get a set as good as these. That one's clean too, number 3. That one's good as well, but this gap's mighty tight. We'll have to look into that. We're gonna clean all these and check the gaps. Talk about this last one. Now I spun this engine over Saturday when we got it, and it spun over real easy with the starter. But I'm sure it's not gonna hurt to lubricate all this stuff. Number 1 spark plug kind of resembles the rest. They're all pretty clean. And it says put 2 tablespoons in each cylinder, but I'm not gonna measure tablespoons. We're just gonna kind of guesstimate, because we're gonna need some more. All right, that kind of lubricated everything. All right, step 2 says remove the valve cover and flush the valve and valve operating mechanism with the same mixture. So since the next step is to remove the valve cover, I'm going to have to pull this carburetor off anyways. It's like the float stuck in it, or it's sunk, or one or the other. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the carburetor off to make it easier to get that valve cover off. And what we got is a couple of hose clamps right here and a couple bolts right here. It should come right off. Loosen this other one up to give us possibly a little wiggle room. Hopefully. This will come right off, but I don't know. This is an aftermarket carburetor. My dad actually purchased this carburetor and installed it for the man. He's a friend of the family. Seen this tractor riding around our neighborhood all my life. So it's a privilege to own it now. Alright, we got 1 7/16 nut loose that holds it to the intake manifold. I'm going to put these back on the carburetor so I don't lose them. And the other one's right here. Now I've already removed the fuel line, so if you was doing this at home, you'd have to unthread it out of that fitting right there. See, look, I already lost it. Oh, great, it fell in the bucket of water. Alright. Got that loose. Now it looks like we've got 2 itty bitty cotter pins holding this thing together. See, that ain't much bigger than a lawnmower carburetor. Any other? Okay, that's good. So what you got? I don't know how good you can see it, but there's a cotter pin right here, which goes to what appears to be the governor shaft, which that makes sense. That's the throttle plate. And we're going to use the largest pair of needle nose pliers I own. All right, lost that one, so that's good. I've got plenty more cotter pins. And then we've got one more down here for the choke shaft. I'm just going to straighten that one out. And just kind of work it out. And there that little, it don't take much to bend it. So yeah, you might want to put new cotter pins in it if you're doing this at home. I probably will. All right, that's disconnected. And the carburetor looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to look up the numbers. I might go on Amazon and see if I can get a kit for this thing. It's a Zenith carburetor. And your numbers are on this little tag right here. It's probably nothing real special about it. It should be easy to get. All right, set that aside and we'll start taking the valve cover off. And from your view right there, you're going to have one bolt head here and one bolt head here. All right, got that bolt out. This bolt's as long as the other one, it might not come out. And it looks like it's got a little copper washer under the head of the bolt to keep it from leaking. Well, we done lost a 1/2 wrench in the oil bucket too. I wish somebody would move that. I lost one nut and one wrench. All right, it come out of there and shoot, the valve cover just fell right off. Let's see what we got inside this engine. All they said was remove valve cover. It didn't say nothing about the intake and exhaust manifold to get this thing out. All right, so there is all the lifters, and I can just barely see the cam from right there. I wish I could get a little more light in there for y'all. Yeah, we're going to spray it down with a little more. Get everything thoroughly coated in gas. And I think this is to prevent dry startups. All right, so we got a good coating on all the lifters and all the everything in there. So let's see what the next step is. Step 3 says crank the engine rapidly until excess oil has been blown out of the spark plug holes. This operation will loosen any tight piston rings and wash old gummy oil from valves and pistons. Borrowed this hot 6-volt battery from my dad. Now we'll see if this thing will spin over. Tractor's in neutral, which I'm not afraid to start it anyways. Let's spin this thing over and see what happens. Woo! Hey, the lift works. Sounds like all our valves are moving. And it looks like we're making a terrible mess. For some reason it smells like an excessive amount of gas in here. I'm going to try to get this where we can see all our lifters. Compression on them two. Yeah, compression on them two. All right. I feel pretty good about that. Step 4 says tractors with magneto flush out impulse coupling with kerosene and lubricate as specified. But mine's got a distributor, so we're going to skip that step. And number 5 says drain the crankcase and flush out with kerosene or flushing oil and fill with specified lubricating oil on page 24. We will get to that. Okay, so the next step said to drain the oil, drain the filter, and flush with kerosene. I'm gonna have to get kerosene to do that because I'm doing this thing by the book, just like International said. So, but the first thing we're gonna start out with is removing the oil filter. And it's like a cartridge style filter. Yeah, people think that's something new, but it's been around a long time. Actually, like all your AC Delco add-on filters, like on a 55 Chevy that come on it from the factory, or the dealer added on, was a cartridge type filter. It wasn't a spin-on filter like everybody's used to. All right, we're gonna move this long bolt and this cover here. Okay, maybe I need to research on removing that cover. It probably just needs a little pry on. That's loose. It's a heavy cover. Let's see what the oil filter looks like. It's clean. Oh, it's got a part number on it. Okay, that'll make life easier. It's 85-153. And it's just a tiny little thing. All right, so now we gotta loosen this, which is actually your drain for your oil filter. I need to get y'all some more light. Hold on. All right. So the next thing you gotta do is drain the oil filter housing. That is done right here. It's a little stuck. Now we'll get to see how bad the oil is in this thing. It looked pretty clean on the stick. All right, that ain't too bad. We're just gonna let that drain for like a day till I can get some kerosene. And we will probably go back with some kind of 30 weight Rotella. Don't look too bad. No metallics. A little sludgy right there, but no metallics. So that's good. I feel pretty confident this motor's in good shape. Oh no, it was just a figment of my imagination. That looked like a chunk laying there. But yeah, we're good to go. Ain't nothing like listening to the last bit of oil drip out of a motor. So yeah, here we go. Got to pick up an oil filter, a carburetor kit, and probably a fuel bowl gasket. And I'll be ready to fire this thing up. I think we're going to reuse the original spark plugs that was in it because they look to be in good shape. And I'll keep y'all posted, and we'll walk through the rest of the steps of getting this tractor running. All right.